Here comes a late arriving Charlotte Wilder. She's on her own time. We don't have a seat for her here, so she's just going to walk right across the shot here and get herself organized as we bring Matt Barnes in to talk about some playoff basketball. Oddball every day except Monday. Where is Amin, incidentally? Amin's flying in a big hurry from Boston. Is he caught in traffic?
His flight was delayed. I got a text like an hour ago that he'd be here in 40. I haven't seen him yet.
Matt Barnes is here. All the Smoke Productions, I've told you, on YouTube, DraftKings Network, they're doing great stuff. All new episodes every Thursday. You guys seem to really be enjoying yourself. Matt, you've been doing this for a while, so I'm just curious, when you follow your curiosities, how is it that you're picking your guests?
Storytelling. I think early on, obviously, our strategy to this was I felt like the audience had to fall in love with Stack and I. And, that was my original thinking. We started off with guests, but I think once we got our chemistry, it was more about the chemistry between us, and then the guests would be the icing on the cake. So, Dan, we've been blessed to have a ton of people. There's maybe 5 to 10 people big that we haven't got yet. But for me, mostly I'm looking for story. How can I uncover a story I think is interesting, or who is going to be a good conversation? So that's kind of how I focus on getting guests.
If I may here, I'm going to tell the audience, I will talk basketball with him in a second, but I've been fascinated sort of by where it is that Matt Barnes insists on being creative. You do realize, right, how unusual the chemistry you and Steven Jackson have? Because when brotherhood or chemistry is real and you know each other in a way that you can have fun with each other without anybody getting hurt because you know where all the stuff is, it's
Right.
super rare in television for partnerships like that to exist on television.
Yeah, no, I mean, I tell literally and I get asked all the time, what's the best way to start? What's this? What's that? And I was like, well, if you're going to go solo, this is how I feel you do. But if you're going to have a partner, the most important thing to have as a partner is someone that you just explained, Dan, someone you can have the wildest conversations with, someone you can have, conversations that toe the line, someone you can talk to, excuse my language, I'm not allowed to say this early in the morning, but someone that you could just really vibe with. And Jack is definitely that for me, and I'm that for him. So that's why I think, that's been the key to, I feel like, our show's success.
Well, I'd say something else here, too, and I don't think you'll be uncomfortable talking about this stuff. Like, wherever it is that you've needed help in times of need, what becomes clear in watching you two interact with each other and with others is how overt it is that you love each other. That it's not two guys just sitting there enjoying each other's company because they're friends, but no, you love each other.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's my brother. We've been through so much. I mean, Jack was there. My mom died at the beginning of the 2008 season within 26 days from cancer when I was right off that We Believe season in 07. She died the very next November, beginning of the season, and Jack was there for me from the day, from checking on me, calling me, bringing me food, coming and just watching TV with me, coming to smoke with me, just being there more than a teammate. And I think that's where we developed, our went from teammates to real life brothers, and then all the ups and downs and adversity he's been through and I've been through since. We've always been there. So it's a real brotherhood. It's a real love. But at the same time, we don't always have to agree. We can disagree without disrespecting each other. And I think that's what media overall is missing these days. I feel like if media doesn't like something or someone or a play, it went from kind of critiquing, which was the art of it, to being disrespectful and loud and doing it for clicks. So I say all that to say I think, Jack and I have a good thing going.
You also realize, and I've talked to you about this some before, but maybe the audience doesn't know it. Can you articulate for us how it is and why it is that you think that you two occupy a space that nobody else can occupy?
Dan, it was funny. I was on Paul George's podcast a couple weeks ago, and I said this out loud for the first time. I think I don't see anyone in our space as competition. Like, I love it. To me, the more the merrier. If you got something to say and you can really say it and have a way of articulating it, if you're, obviously it's watered down with former players, but I love when current players get in there and have something to say. But at the same time, I don't look at any of these guys as competition. I look at this as all former athletes, current athletes that have our own unique journey, perspectives, and outlooks on how the game is played, how it's covered, and how it's officiated at times. So I look particularly podcasts that way, but Dan, I feel like we're on to bigger and better things. And, obviously thanks to you and Meadowlark and obviously DraftKings, like, I'm not only worried about making a great All the Smoke show or All Unplugged show. I'm also worried about 5 other shows and creating more shows and creating more talent and building out in different verticals in this company. So I love what I do. I don't know how long I'm going to do it. I'm sure I still got a handful of years of being in front of the camera, but my goal is to transition, more behind and pop my head out when needed in front.
I will tell the folks again, All the Smoke Productions, DraftKings Network, YouTube, you should watch what it is and listen to what it is that they're doing, because what they're doing is interesting. I want to talk to you about some of the things happening in basketball. What's fair and what's unfair on Joel Embiid?
Man, I don't know. It's he looks like he's out there on a leg and a half or even one leg. And he's playing great basketball. On the flip side, he's doing some questionable, borderline, dirty, or if you want to call it competitive, I don't know what you want to call it, because I've been on both sides of that law. I'll let you decide it. Things on the other end, but I love the fact that he's out there. I mean, this guy is so talented and just has really had an injury riddled career. And I love that, he's out here fighting with his team, and we can tell he's not fully healthy with the leg. And then, I think he's had some Bell's palsy as well. So I love the fact that he's just out here fighting with his guys. And they're in a hell of a battle with the Knicks, man.
I really don't understand some Bell's palsy as well, like just throwing that out there, because these people are playing under enormous duress. Executive producer Chris Cody did an excellent job during this segment by whispering to me just moments ago the only helpful bit of advice he's helped me with, which is to say Matt Barnes just burped.
Like,
no, I didn't.
During that sentence, it looked like you had a burp come up, and you're a pro. You fought through it.
Oh, no. My chair was moving, so I was hopping over a cord, so I was kind of...
All right.
I'm going to have to check the replay.
So he was wrong.
Juju, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did Matt Barnes obviously burp? You said you can't curse at this hour in the morning. Are the kids behind you? Are you at home? Are you in a home studio?
No, man, Dan, I've been up. Man, Dan, I got up at 5:30 in the morning, hit the gym, got back home by 7:30, took 3 of our sons to do 2 different schools, and just called an Uber for my twins. And now I'm down here with you for 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm hopping right on calls to do some golf stuff, hopefully, for All the Smoke Productions. So I'm grinding, man. I've been up for a while.
Wow, that is more than I've done in weeks, Matt. That is really impressive.
You're impressed by the 5 a.m. workout?
Oh, yeah, big time.
6 a.m. No. I don't want to sound that crazy. I'm 6 a.m.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm up and at 'em, and I got to get home back because I have 6 kids that go to 4 different schools, and we range from age 5 to 15. So, my fiance and I are on the move every morning. So this was a particularly early morning for work. Normally I drop the kids, then go train, and then come home and do this. So I had to flip the script. So I had to get up pretty early these last 2 days and knock out my part of daddy duty and then come to work. But if you can call this work.
Right. We were talking about Ironmans earlier. And this seems more impressive to me than a triathlon.
Just being a dad and an obstacle, like the obstacle course of
and working out.
And finding a way to smoke a joint before I came too, because that's always my breakfast. That's my breakfast of champions. I don't eat until noon, so I got to have my little joint before I get going, and I'm ready to go, baby.
Put it on the poll. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is the joint the breakfast of champions?
Yes.
The Boston Celtics, I was saying earlier in the show, I don't know if you'd be willing to buy on this because I know how much you respect champions, but I was saying that this Boston team, accounting for how the game is played today, to me feels like a more overwhelming champion than even the one that won the championship. And I don't mean it as any disrespect. The regular season they just had and the way that they trounced everyone, and it's not the playoffs, but suggests to me that this is the best statistical offense I've ever seen the Celtics have, and their defense is very good too.
I'm buying half of that. And I think a lot hinges, first of all, on Porzingis' health. I think he is having a really good season, but we know he's been hit and miss with injuries, but I think he's instrumental. I'm a huge fan of Jason Tatum and how he's taken the criticism from day one and applied it to the game. And, this guy's had a lot of success early in his career, and now he's, mid-20s. And I feel like there's a lot of pressure on him to get over that top. I think he gets over the top, and, he's in that conversation of, top 5 current young players in this game. If he's not already there, I kind of already have him there. Some people don't. Some people feel a championship will validate him. But on the flip side, Dan, Denver looks tough and they're poised, and the way that Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. are playing, on top of the way Jamal Murray is playing, you know what you're getting with Jokic. They have their role players. I think these are the two best teams in basketball, but I really also like Minnesota. I think this is going to be a great test, win or lose for them. You're going against the best in the game or the current champion. So I kind of jumped around a little bit. I really do like Boston, really do. I've always been a big fan, but I can't buy all the way from a standpoint of I think Denver's playing really good basketball as well.
Denver's playing really good basketball, but Minnesota has the particular ingredients, I feel like, especially with Ant, to stop and neutralize Jokic a little bit, right? Because of Rudy, because of Cat.
No such thing.
I mean, just
No.
maybe slow him down a little bit.
I agree.
Thank
I agree with you.
Real Hooper
I
fan.
agree with you.
So I feel like Minnesota could be that team to not only stop Denver in this run, but supplant them as kind of the new team of the future in the West.
Well, this is the copycat league, and everyone copied Golden State when Golden State was making their runs and their ability to shoot and stretch the floor and play small ball. Denver's brought it back to not necessarily traditionally, but kind of an old school with the new school flair where you're still playing through the post, which is kind of unheard of. But this post can start at the 3-point line and generate offense. So I would agree from a standpoint of the last team to slow him down was the Lakers in the bubble. And because they were able to throw big bodies at him, from JaVale McGee to Dwight Howard to Anthony Davis. Obviously, Minnesota doesn't have all those bodies, but they have Rudy Gobert, who is one of the best defenders in the game. They got Cat. They got what's his name? Naz Reid, sixth man of the year. So they can throw different looks at them and run different things. But again, those other guys, Jamal Murray and the rest of the squad, KCPs and Peyton Watson and those kids off the bench, they're playing really good right now. But I agree. I think this Minnesota matchup, that the winner of this second round matchup will represent the Western Conference. And I don't mean to cut anybody short in the other games, but I feel like the winner of Denver, Minnesota.
You're cutting the Thunder short. You have cut the Thunder short. Aggregate it right now. Send it to TMZ. Matt Barnes has clearly cut. It's the weed talking. He has cut. You just cut OKC short. You did. You can't say you didn't cut him short. And when you're cutting him short.
No, I definitely did. And like I said, whether it's Denver or the Clippers, whether it's Dallas or the Clippers to come out, again, I think OKC is going to have this is a great learning experience. I would love for them to prove me wrong. Like I said, I had questions, not questions on their talent or how good they've been during the regular season, but Oklahoma and Minnesota, I just have to see it in the playoffs, Dan, because regular seasons can be amazing for a young team, and you get in the playoffs and the lights are a little brighter. The conversation is a little heavier, and there's just a lot going on. But so far, both these teams have played really well in the first round, and I think this second round test for both teams is going to be a growing experience, win or loss, and it's going to be good because those are the teams of the future in the West.
Matt, it was a tough sweep. Pelicans and OKC.
Come on,
that was
get
a tough
out of
sweep.
here. Stop. There's no such thing as a tough
close
sweep.
games in
Knock
that
it off.
series.
No tough
Tough
sweep.
sweep.
Stop. There's no such thing as a tough sweep. Matt, good seeing you. Thank you, sir. Good talking to you.
Have a good one, guys.
Oh, look who all of a sudden isn't too busy doing some big Hollywood show to be on our little show anymore. Mike Schur, I've been asking him every day, hey, when you coming back on? When you coming back on? Every day for like a month. Hey, I've got a big Hollywood show I do, not your little show, and I'm very busy. But for some reason, today, some time freed up on the schedule.
Weird.
And,
weird, isn't it?
Mike
How the timing
Ryan
worked out.
Mike Ryan is in Cancun. He has left the country. Here, I will tell you, I will reveal this for the first time, okay? What Jeremy Taché and Mike Schur have done the last part of this regular season on my phone by text string has ruined basketball for me, and my love of sports has been diminished because what has happened in them dorking out on my phone in a way that has been uncomfortably unpleasant late into the night for a long time, because the worst thing that you can do with Jeremy is give him the number of a celebrity he admires.
Whoa.
Hey,
There is a little Stugotz in everybody. Mike Schur, welcome to the show, and go ahead, have at it.
Thank you, Dan. I don't know what you have all talked about today and what you haven't, because I can't listen to the show because it doesn't get posted before I come on. So I don't want to repeat anything. So if I repeat anything that you've already talked about, just wave your hand or something, and I'll change subjects. I do want to talk about the series though, because I understand that the final scores of these games made it seem like a very lopsided series. 34-point win in Game 5, all that sort of stuff. But the reason that a lot of Celtics fans were nervous going in, and Charlotte can probably speak to this, is because Spoelstra and the Heat always do things in these series that seem to change the calculus. It doesn't matter what the rosters look like, who's hurt, who isn't hurt. They always do things that drive you crazy. That's what Game 2 was all about. And so I thought, as a jumping off point for discussion, I could make a top 5 list, and then we can use some of what I say here to maybe analyze the series looking backward and discuss the Heat. So this is top 5 things the Heat do. If you're ready for this. Are you ready for this?
I don't think Charlotte's quite ready for it.
I was just going to say, you said why Celtics fans are so stressed, and I wanted to add, because we're just neurotic people from New England who are a little broken, but also, yes, the Heat.
Totally. Yes, 100%. But I think this is specific to the Heat. Okay. So here we go. Top 5 things the Heat do. OLI, suck. Number 5, lose. Number 4, miss out on big names in the trade market. Number 3, play dirty. Number 2, phone it in during the regular season. And the number 1 thing that the Heat does, blow.
Wait a minute.
No, I don't know which of those you want to talk about.
That sounds the same as.
I don't know if you want to take any of those as a jumping off point into further discussion.
Sucks and blow are synonyms in this context.
I just strongly disagree.
Yeah, same.
I think they're the same thing. What do you mean? You don't think they're the same thing? Regardless.
I have another top 5 list for you.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Top 5 things that Jeremy Tessier might have meant when he said that Tyler Herro was going to do the thing in the playoffs. The actual tweet, just to refresh everyone's memory, the actual tweet was, Tyler Herro is going to do the thing this postseason. I can feel it in my bones. And how poetic would that be?
I believe in my friend Tyler.
An actual thing he tweeted. So here we go. Top 5 things Jeremy might have believed Tyler Herro was going to do. OLI, suck. Number 5, go 6 of 19 from the floor in an elimination game. Number 4, tank his already very low trade value. Number 3, just kind of throw the ball to no one over and over again. Number 2, full-on dress like Jamiroquai in a post-game press conference.
I couldn't believe that. I could not believe that. I am like, I watched that and felt hurt in my heart for Pat Riley and everything that's been done to his legacy.
And the number 1 thing that Jeremy might have believed Tyler Herro was going to do when he said he was going to do the thing: play 35 minutes in an elimination game and get outscored by Sam Hauser, even though Hauser only played 20 minutes. If those were the things that Jeremy believed Tyler Herro was going to do in the postseason, he would have been right.
I'm fine, Mike. I'm fine.
I have known Mike now for a little while, and I will just tell you, I have never seen him this radiant. He's glowing, and it's not. When is the last?
This is my literal hell.
When is the last time? I know. I want to know. When is the last time sports made you feel this good?
Oh, he's crying.
Because I hear that the little boy in him. This is as happy as I've ever seen my friend, because he knows good and well that it's not just that Boston wins, it's that Boston has a championship chance, and also that you close the Jimmy window. And so at the end of the 5 years, you've been scared of this team, and you can finally shake free of your shackles.
I have another top 5 list for you.
Do it.
These top 5 most delusional Heat fan beliefs heading into the series. Here we go. OLI, we don't suck. Number 5, Bam is ready to step up and lead this team. Number 4, Nikola Jovic's length could really cause some matchup problems for the Celtics. Number 3, Kevin Love could play a huge role for us because of how he spaces the floor. Number 2, the X factor in the series just might be Patty Mills. And the number 1 most delusional Heat fan belief heading into the series with the Celtics, Tyler Herro is going to do the thing.
Yeah, that's right.
How many more top 5 lists do you have?
I have one more. Top 5 things the Heat should do this offseason. Here we go. OLI, stop sucking.
Yeah.
Number 5, extend Kevin Love. Number 4, extend Jimmy Butler. Number 3, extend Tyler Herro. Number 2, extend Patty Mills. And the number 1 thing the Heat should do this offseason, run it back. Run it back, baby. Bring the whole team back, run it back. I think you guys, you're close. You're close. You're this close.
You look so radiant. I don't know if this post is postcoital. I don't know. I can't imagine a scenario under which this feels like the happiness that you were spewing probably when the Red Sox won their first World Series. Like where do you feel? I feel like this feels a bit like a historic feeling for you, a championship feeling for you.
Nothing beats that. Nothing will ever beat that. But I checked the game. I was working yesterday because I'm making a big Hollywood program, and I was checking the score periodically and just enjoying myself. And at the very end of the game, with like a minute left, I checked the game cast, and I saw an update that was O'Shea Brissett makes 2-foot dunk, assist by Svi Mihailuk, and it was the greatest series of words that I had ever seen in my life, and I immediately texted it to Charlotte. And it was like I couldn't have dreamed a better sentence structure than that. O'Shea Brissett makes dunk, assisted by Svi Mihailuk with 1 minute left.
He
God, it was so
texted
glorious.
it to me and said, "That's basically porn to me."
Yeah, that's porn. That was like porn to me.
That's
to
not
want to
safe
see
for
those
work.
words.
We shouldn't be saying that here.
It's true. It's true. I apologize to your listeners
Yeah.
for doing something pornographic.
Do we want to do stat of the day, or have you now outgrown this? Have you now that Hollywood is back in business, do you even have a stat of the day, or was it all just Celtics talk?
Dan, for the last time, I always come with a stat of the day.
Okay.
You don't have to ask me this. I always have a
All
stat
right,
of the day.
All right.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day.
Roy's not there today, so somebody forgot to turn on original sound, so I couldn't hear the music.
Oh, sorry, Mike. Do you want me to sing it to you?
Here's your stat of the day, courtesy of StatMuse. Derek White has more points in this playoff run than the following players: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, James Harden, Paul George, Tyrese Halliburton, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jason Tatum. I love him so much. I love him. He and Mookie Betts are my 2 favorite living human beings, including my own family.
I swear to God, Mike, if they let him go the way that they let Mookie go, I'm still not over it. I'm not over it.
No.
Derek White is a salve to that wound.
He really is. He is. He's a pure ray of cosmic light that has been brought into our lives to make us happy.
It's interesting how quickly both of you turned your back on Marcus Smart to love him. How quickly,
For the record,
how quickly you
I
two
did not
that.
know. No, I did not turn my back on Marcus Smart. When we had this discussion in Los Angeles with Amin and Charlotte, I said, and you can check the tape, I said, I love that guy. That guy was great. I loved him on my team. I loved watching him play. And Amin tried to tell me and Charlotte and you, Dan, that they shouldn't have let him and Grant Williams go because, and I quote, he had that dog in him. And at the time, I said, yeah, okay, fine. But you know who's really good at basketball is Kristaps Porzingis and also Drew Holiday. And maybe it's a good idea to just get the guys who are good at basketball on your team. And I was the only one in that room that had faith in those moves. And now Brad is the executive of the year, deservedly so. And this team just absolutely tore the 8-seed Heat into tiny little pieces and discarded them in a waste bin in a way that they did not last year because their roster is better. And I feel like I've been vindicated.
You know, you could say Derek White has that dog in him, Dan.
You could say that.
You could say that, Mike. Couldn't you say that?
You might be able to say.
I wish you hadn't.
Say that, yeah.
I don't think you needed to say that. You continue to say that dog in him. You love saying that dog in him. I've rarely had harder times in my life than seeing him smile this way. My brother just died.
Oh.
This is harder. This is harder. This has been harder than that.
Dan.
This has been harder than that. Too soon?
Too soon, and also unfair. Also, where's Mike Ryan? This is
Coward.
Mike Ryan isn't here. Total coward. At least Jeremy had the guts to show up.
Right?
Thank you.
Right?
I can't believe your
Unbelievable.
year
While
started.
taking a victory lap. While taking a victory lap on Twitter so he can hide as a Mexican fugitive.
I can't believe Mike Schur's year began with a literal nightmare of Jimmy Butler dropping him into an apocalyptic vortex and ends with me wearing eyeliner as emo Jeremy.
It's poetry.
Amin has finally landed. I can't wait to get to all of his basketball expertise. He was boots on the ground in Boston. He is covering the hell out of the NBA playoffs. Oddball every day except Monday. If you've been watching and listening recently, I am urging you very strongly to do so because they have found their voice. They have found their chemistry. That stuff can take some time, and they are galloping now. Oddball is a roaring force, Charlotte Wilder and Amin El-Hassan. But, Amin, before we get to you, can you guys explain to me what you were talking about with Chris Brown? I heard you guys talking about everything going on with Quavo and Chris Brown, and I didn't know what that story was.
I thought you guys were talking with Chris Brown. I'm like, you guys had Chris Brown on the show?
Yeah,
Always when I'm not here. Always when I'm not here.
No, so Chris Brown and Quavo have been having basically the undercard beef between Drake and Kendrick. This is like, if that's the main event, this is kind of like the co-main right now. But there was I don't know if we have the video of it. There was a concert that Quavo had in Connecticut that apparently, again, we don't know if this has been confirmed or not, allegedly, Chris Brown did the Michael Rubin, I bought all the tickets. So there was like 30 people. This looks like a Marlins game. That's when I saw it on the screen, I was like, oh, damn, a lot of people at the Marlins game. And then I was like, oh, wait a second. So this is the view of a Quavo concert at the XL Center in Hartford, right next to where the Yard Goats play, by the way, Dan. I don't know if you've been there. A beautiful little setup.
I did not know all of that. I did not. It looked to me at the beginning like the Seaquarium, like a real sadness there in the seating arrangement. So it hasn't been confirmed, though, that this was done to Quavo?
By Chris Brown.
Because that'd be pretty funny as a move. I've never been able to verify this story, but I've heard it a lot in comedy circles that one time there was supposed to be a night at a club somewhere for Dane Cook, and Chappelle was a part of the night, but he was opening. And when Chappelle got there, somebody told him that he had to keep it to 10 minutes because it was Dane Cook's night, and Chappelle was at the height of being Chappelle, and it's Dane Cook, and so he's like, okay, I'll respect that. And I've never been able to confirm this or not, and he did 10 minutes, but at the end he said, hey, I'll be out front if you want to take pictures or anything with me, and then we'll hang out and we'll talk about stuff, and I'll be out front with you. And so Dane Cook came out and there was nobody there.
Played.
Right?
How'd he play?
Right? I'd love to know if that was true or not. Get on that for me, would you?
Now, this has not been the first time this has happened. Back in our past in hip-hop lore, 50 did this to Ja Rule, where Ja Rule came out and it was like, guys, anybody? Hello? Sound check?
It is, in fact, called the 50 Cent when you do that. When you buy up the tickets to your rival's event and then make sure no one goes. That is 50's signature move that he did years and years ago.
It's also what the K-pop fans did to Donald Trump.
Yes.
The BTS fans. They bought all those tickets to the rally, and then there was no one there.
It really is like a mighty gesture of like, I'm so rich, I'll give you money just for you to be embarrassed.
That's the thing. It's like, I got the money on the back end anyway, so it's like, did I really lose? I maybe don't even have to perform. There's 4 people here.
But it's embarrassing. And it's the most embarrassing part isn't just that I performed in front of 4 people or did not perform in front of 4 people. It's the line from A Bronx Tale where after they beat up the bikers, he picks one of them up and says, look at me, I did this to you. That's the embarrassing part. If it was a mystery, why did no one show up? I don't know, but they bought tickets. It'd be fine. But it's like, I did this to you. That's the part.
I mean, isn't A Bronx Tale the movie that Joe Mazzulla told us he was watching this year?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if he watches it every day.
A long-ass movie.
It is a long movie. It's a good movie,
And
but it is a long movie.
He was like, have you seen it? And I was like, no. And that was
Me either.
The end of the press conference.
I've listened to 2 clips trying to get to the bottom of whether this Chappelle thing really happened, and everyone does the same thing you did of, I can't confirm this, but I heard this happened. So it's like I have multiple interviews where people are telling the story, but everyone is kind of just being like, I think this happened.
Got to get Neil Brennan on and ask him. I think he's our only source that might be able to make it happen.
I think if you're Chappelle, you don't want it confirmed. You just want it like a rumor or a whisper in the corners. Like, I heard Chappelle exercises power this way. And it's like, did I make his brain explode by just blinking? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Who knows? But you'll walk with caution around me, right?
I would like, Amin, since you are here, to cover some of the things from last night that we had not covered. James Harden now has more playoff games where he has shot under 20% than any player ever. The Clippers really needed that game against Dallas. It's a weird team time. A weird construct for the Clippers on are they successful or are they not successful, the Kawhi Leonard era, because he can't get out there anymore. That's a championship-worthy team when they're healthy. But Russell Westbrook yesterday, if you're looking at everything that's happening around there, since Game 2, he was 7 fouls, 6 turnovers, and 6 baskets on 17% shooting. The Clippers, what do you do with Clippers Mavericks?
So we don't want to talk about the Heat. I just want to be clear on the game that I actually was at and saw and witnessed.
Well, we've done a lot of that so far today, Amin, and you've gotten here a little bit late.
I'm sorry.
If you have, let's see, I'd prefer to do it your way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that Amin can tell us only things that have not been said around here without having heard the show? That he can give us analysis that is not redundant with anything that's been said so far?
I think Amin will come in here with a story about who he talked to before the game on the court side that we will not have heard because he is the mayor of schmoozing.
Okay, well, I would like all of the good information that Amin has. Like, he's flying back and forth, Meadowlark Media, he's doing reporting. Greg Cody said earlier this week, it has not been said until I've said it. That was Greg Cody's pronouncement. He comes in on Tuesdays and we're like, we've covered all of the things that you're saying. And he's like, yes, but it has not been said until I say it. This is a new segment I'm debuting right now with Amin El-Hassan called It Has Not Been Said Until I Say It. Let's see if you can do 6 minutes of Heat analysis that has not been done, or Celtics Heat analysis that has not been done around here.
All right, I'm going to start strong with things that I know for a fact have not been said. While waiting in line for a urinal, I heard fans discussing whether they'd trade for Jimmy Butler. One of them said, I'd trade him to get rid of Brown and a bag of balls.
These are Celtics fans.
Celtics fans, decked out head to toe in green, which is the only color
At
they
the
wear.
urinal where you were doing your reporting.
Yes, at the urinal. Also, this was a observation. The Celtics emptied their bench early in the fourth quarter. The Heat tried to do that, except they didn't have a bench to empty.
Okay, so now it's just one-liners. Yeah, something that
Stand-up said in Southie? What's happening here?
Something that you reported from a urinal, and also
this is the good stuff. This is what you can find on
Okay.
Oddball every day but
all right,
Monday.
let's see what else. No, let's see what other gems Meadowlark paid for.
All right, so you can either say we're going to give up all threes and not allow anything in the paint, or say we're going to protect the paint and live and die by their threes. What you cannot do is fail to do either of those things.
It's good analysis.
The Celtics shot 16 of 40 from three and shot, I want to say 25 of 35 inside the three-point line.
It is weird to me still to see so many easy baskets in the playoffs, just layups, but you have to defend the three. You have to.
Derek White is the new Al Horford.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like there's,
Go on.
You know how Stugotz is always like, Al Horford, I'm afraid of Al Horford. He's always there, and doesn't matter how old he is. I think Derek White is now that guy.
You weren't here just a second ago. Mike Schur and Charlotte, round one, they've fallen in love. They are deeply in love.
So I heard the tail end where Mike tells this very, very adulterated story about me, him, and Charlotte. and having a conversation about the Celtics missing Marcus Smart and Grant Williams. And there's a couple of things. Number one, he was touting the Porzingis part, and my rebuttal wasn't that Porzingis isn't good. It's that he's not reliable. And guess what? Guess what? He's hurt. Now, as it turns out, it probably won't matter because they've got an easy side of the bracket, but it happened, number one. Number two, I think Derek White is the biggest part of the Celtics' success this year.
Yes.
Everyone keeps saying, Drew Holiday doesn't do what that dude does. Yeah. That dude locks up everybody. And then here's the thing, Dan. It went from Derek White, let him shoot, to Derek White, all right, guys, he's a pretty good shooter now. Make sure you close out to him. To Derek White, okay, he'll put it on the floor. To now Derek White, dribble, cross, swing, step back behind. I'm like, who is this guy? Dude, Tatum didn't give him problems. Brown didn't give him problems. Derek White bust everybody's ass. He was incredible. Incredible to a level where I'm like, okay, hold on. At what point do we start calling him the third best player on this team?
Yeah.
Or dare I say even higher?
He also, after the game, he's so humble and he's so chill all the time when he talks. And he was like, well, if they're going to have a lot of guys on JB and JT, I got to step up.
Hold on.
He should have been a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year.
Hold on. Yes, but please do not do this to Amin. Dare you say it?
Dare I?
Dare you say it?
I dare.
We are wait a minute.
Dare I ask you?
No, wait a minute. You did not say it. I'm asking you to dare to say it. You have not yet said it. I want it said. Are you, Amin El-Hassan, flying from Boston on a plane paid for to get information near the urinals, coming back to South Florida with the dispatch that you are ready to pronounce that Derek White is better than Jaylen Brown?
I'm going to say that Derek White was better than Jaylen Brown in this series for sure.
Dare I say it? You didn't dare say it. Say it. So you didn't.
I
dare
shan't
say
dare.
It.
Jaylen Brown's a really good player, guys. What are we doing here?
No, just
highest paid player in basketball.
You just dared I say, and I dared you. And what'd you give me? You didn't give me Derek White.
You know what you could say about Derek White? That he double dog dared them. He has that dog.
I thought you were going to go
Derek.
with Dare
Oh.
and Derek. I thought that was the lane was right there. It was right there.
Call me Tyler Herro. I missed it.
You were galvanized in the moment.
I was galvanized. I was so galvanized.
What is happening to her, and I will tell you what's happening to her, she's like, look, I can make a coast-to-coast joke that unspools over months of that dog in him. And she just got lightheaded and just loved the idea of living a cross-country joke about this dog in him. Her and Mike Schur giggled over that. Nobody knew what the they were talking about. Because they're making a joke from 7 months ago.
No, it's that dog in him's funny either way. You could say that joke is Jump the Shark.
I heard whispers and rumors like the Chappelle story about you and the term jump the shark.
What'd you hear? It's all not true.
While you were flying in, you've heard already that she didn't know what jump the shark was?
He's got people everywhere, Dan. He's at the urinal and he's reporting stuff. He's got people everywhere.
Jaylen Brown and a bag of balls for Jimmy Butler.
Do you realize that you could have? You're gun shy now. I think since that jump shot that went viral.
Viral
Decontextualization.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
but you you're gun shy because at any other point in your life you would have just said Derek White is better than Jaylen Brown. You would have. You would have dared.
That's right. It's time for Thursday Thunder, and it is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear about all that DraftKings has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Thursday Thunder, cooked up by Juju. Go ahead, Tony.
All right, we're going to start. We're actually all the way in the association tonight. We've got Obi Toppin over 8.5 points. Mike also still has a top shot of Obi Toppin if you want to get rich. He has that for sale. Easy flip, very quick flip for Obi Toppin. Over 8.5 points for Mr. Toppin. Second leg, over 30.5 points for Joel Embiid. Big night tonight. Sixers, Knicks, 30.5 points over.
Based on what?
Based on they need
just
it.
Believing
based on they need it,
in all Embiid things. Okay.
Yep. Based on they need it. If they lose tonight, season's over. So you got to have 31 points for the Thursday Thunder parlay. Last one here, over 9.5 points for Deuce McBride of the Knicks. It's a nice little back and forth, and then we got Obi Toppin, former Knick. I mean, you know.
Amin, how excited are you about this game as someone who knows the history of the Knicks and someone who knows what it feels like when New York is believing in something?
Well, I mean, that's the wonderful part is before Game 5, I talked about this on Oddball with Charlotte, I like to throw bombs into my little group chat of friends and family who are all Knicks fans. And so I was like, hey, guys, LeBron to the Knicks, who says no?
Oh, wow.
And the reaction was so vehemently, hell no. Disturb this chemistry? We're going to like they truly believe they were going to ride this roommates podcast to the sky.
Oh.
Right? Shout out to the roommates podcast.
It's a good podcast.
It is a good podcast.
They're lovable. They're lovable.
The Knicks are lovable. How about that, right? And so it was absolutely not. And then Game 5 happens. And what I got to give a shout out to our producer, Gabe Goodwin, who is a Knicks fan. He said, there's the thing about the Knicks. It's like, yeah, we're the best, da-da-da. But then inside grows this seed that turns into this beautiful flower of, oh, my God, this is how we F this up one more time. And they're thinking that right now. I'm not talking about the Knicks players. I'm talking about the Knicks fan base. It's not going to be this beautiful celebration it was for Games 3 and 4 in Philadelphia. This one is, if we don't win this one, it's going to get real ugly.
Yeah, Game 7 strikes fear into the hearts of Knicks fans nationwide. That is the worst possible thing that could happen to Knicks fans because, as Amin likes to say, then it's a one-game series.
Patrick Ewing missing the finger roll against the Pacers. The Heat hitting 8 billion threes in Game 7 while half the Knicks are suspended for fighting, right? Like all the games, Hakeem Olajuwon going nuts.
John Starks going 2 for 18.
Right, which is what the Heat shot, I believe, in the first quarter. This is all the things that their nightmares are made of, those two words, Game 7. They've got a couple Game 7 wins, but they don't remember the Game 7 wins. They remember the Game 7 failures.
I feel like what we're presently witnessing with the Knicks fan base is a little bit unlike anything that I've seen before it because they've gotten plenty loud over nothing when it was just Carmelo winning a game in the first round, when we had the fun of Trae Young in a postseason. But they've had precious few moments. They've had not a lot of belief or time to fall in love with guys who felt like winners. And this is the loudest and most hopeful and most in love I have seen this market in a long time with a basketball team of overachievers because I don't believe that roster's that good. And I remember, the first time I ever learned of how it is that a fan base falls in love with something that's not that good and makes itself crazy irrational. The Miami Heat of Dwayne Wade were 42-40 with Brian Grant and Lamar Odom. And I saw Miami fall in love with a team that could not win a road game because they were not good enough. And I saw them fall in love with a 42-40 team so much that people were yelling at me, you don't trade for Shaq. Don't trade for Shaq. Brian Grant is important.
He's part of the chemistry, the culture.
And it's the first time I saw it, and they're going to do it with this Knicks team, too, where they fall in love with the pieces right up until they run into a team that has a LeBron when they don't have a LeBron.
Dan, do you want to get into the more blasphemous kind of conversations I've had in this group chat?
Ooh, I do.
Where does Jalen Brunson rank among greatest Knicks of all time?
Wow.
Is that blasphemous?
When Patrick Ewing is behind Jalen Brunson, I had to talk to him off. I said, guys, Patrick Ewing, how many conference finals? How many NBA finals? How many years of being a 20-10 guy, right? Year after. And the response to me was, yeah, but Jalen Brunson got here when it was terrible and made it good. And I was like, so did Patrick Ewing.
He was the number one pick of the draft.
The problem right now for Knicks fans is that they have hope that is backed up by evidence. This is over 50 wins, this team. They won on the road. They won at home. They won in bad situations. They were down over and over the course of the season, and I think the Sixers have had a double-digit lead in every game this series, and the Knicks have come back. This is the most dangerous thing you can give to Knicks fans because it's hey, things might be bad right now, but they can get better, and then the team has made them better.
I told them, you guys aren't just being prisoners of the moment on this one. You guys are doing a life bid at Pelican Bay Moment Correctional Facility. 23-hour lockdown.
Shoot program.
There it is.
All right, well, wait a minute, though. You are now bringing back your group texts and information from a urinal as you're just reading your texts now.
That's right.
You just got here. We need the better stuff. We need the best you've got on basketball. You came here late. We've got to get it condensed.
Not to stand up for my co-host, but reporting from the urinal is about as inside the building as you can get, Dan.
Dude, I'm telling you, Celtics fans would entertain a Jimmy Butler deal. I thought this was going to get everybody going.
They will. The Knicks fan will get lightheaded and will forget, and it's okay to forget this. But I just think that the delusion that sinks in about winning a championship, that team, if Philadelphia or Miami had been healthy this season, that Knicks team is not good enough to be at the top of this conference. It happened.
I disagree.
Okay,
I disagree. They are legitimately good.
I agree.
They are legitimate.
I agree with that. Wait a minute. Where's the disagreement? Because I know they're legitimately good, but healthy Philadelphia, healthy Miami would have had a better regular season record, and you would have thought them favorites in a series against the Knicks.
But
betting favorites.
The Knicks weren't healthy either. The Knicks didn't have Julius Randle. The Knicks didn't have Mitch Robinson. The Knicks didn't have OG Anunoby for a while. And then Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart hung in there. And now they're doing it, like, at a certain point, not being good. It's like, oh, they're not good. They're overachieving. It's like, what point do you believe it? Because I sort of believe it now.
They are. You know what's funny is, this is the funniest part, is that you don't even see when you're looking in a mirror. Wow. They are a very Miami Heat-like team now. Mm-hmm. Execution, not making mistakes, guys being stars in their roles, and a guy at the center of this who, at the beginning of this experiment with this team, many would have said, he's not a superstar. Does that sound familiar? Do you remember a conversation about you guys acquiring a guy? And I'm telling you, that guy's a superstar. You know, he's not a superstar. And what he does is not flashy, and it's not high-flying.
It's pretty flashy.
Who, Jimmy?
No.
Or Jalen Brunson
is.
I don't think he's.
Jalen Brunson, to me, is a flashy player. Why is he not flashy? It's super exciting to watch.
He's like old man game flashy.
Exactly. So the NBA fan is conditioned. This is all Michael Jordan's fault. The NBA fan is conditioned is, what does a superstar looks like? 6'6", and flying through the air, right? Dazzling with moves, aerial acrobatics. And anyone who doesn't do that. So Jimmy Butler is 6'6", but it's ground and pound. It's take you down to the block. It's get to the free throw line. It's the stuff that Mike Schur hates, right? It eats him up inside because it's just so methodical. Jalen Brunson, same thing. It's footwork. It's up and unders. It's not flashy like Allen Iverson crossovers. It's definitely not soaring through the air. And so when we see that, we say, well, he's all right, but he's not on the same level. Like, how many times did we hear this year people saying, well, he's a nice little player, but he's not on the level of these greats? And the way he's played, he is.
It is similar, actually, to the year that this Heat core was the 1 seed. Because they had the regular season that they took seriously. They missed a huge chunk of games from Bam Adebayo that year, who was obviously one of their best players. But they got to the postseason after taking the regular season very seriously, getting a high seed. They ultimately lost to the Celtics in 7 that season. And you might see a similar result for the Knicks, who their superstar took a leap. They had a really great regular season, and maybe they make their run to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if they'll be as competitive against the Celtics as the Heat were in that series, because Celtics look more overwhelming, but it's a similar look of regular season, taking it seriously, playing all those guys a lot of minutes.
As someone married to a Knicks fan, an Eastern Conference Finals, Celtics-Knicks, might be the best content we could possibly get.
A house divided.
Dun, dun, dun. Love that.
Miami Heat fans will not enjoy watching that, but will get the benefit of one of them will have their season ended. So God. You are guaranteed to be able to make fun of one of the fan bases.
And then they'll lose to Jokic, right? Whoever comes.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's the best case
Anthony
scenario.
Edwards.
That's the best case scenario.